Hello and welcome to Good Morning PNG, wherever you're watching this beautiful Saturday morning in our beautiful country. We're coming to you live from our studios in Port Moresby. Shaz, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Taz. I'm good. And yes, good morning to you. And Taz, a special welcome to our internet viewers this morning, live streaming us.
Absolutely. Live streaming off the hook last week.
Yeah.
We had, viewers from Australia, New Zealand, the UK. So amazing. So yeah, thanks for joining us. Meribatula, good morning to you.
Good morning, Taz. Good morning, Shaz. Good morning, everyone. Bright and early again.
How's your week been?
You're totally excited for it.
It's been very busy, but we'll have some updates later on.
Leaders Summit, UPNG saga continuing?
Yeah, UPNG. It's a sad situation, but, you know, find a solution somehow.
Absolutely. Aikeya Parkop, morning to you.
Morning, everyone.
From one end of seriousness to entertainment, Silas Kani are dropping an album next week?
Yeah, next week, Friday, he's just going to be releasing the songs, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have a concert coming up, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
Enough of the singles, let's drop some albums.
Yeah, about time too. Richard McGay, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
How's your week?
Oh, all right, I guess. Just, doing my thing.
Great. Peter Pusal, good morning. How's your week?
Morning, Shaz. Yeah, it's a big week for sports. We had a couple of North Queensland Cowboys stars in the country to promote the fun run. And the other big thing, can't forget the Hunters.
Yes.
They named their team on Tuesday and they play tomorrow.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. Shaz, did you take a photo with Jonathan Thurston?
I did, and no one believes me. Well, Taz doesn't believe me, but I did.
You have to see the photo.
Well, I'll show you after the sports news.
Nah, still
Yeah,
can't.
Yeah.
after the sports news.
We have a great show coming up for you, but first we go to the news, and here's Meribatula.
Thanks, Tez. Good morning, everyone. Friday was International Women's Day, and to mark this, an open panel discussion was hosted in partnership with the European Union delegation to PNG and the University of Papua New Guinea in addressing the theme, Think Equal, Build Smart, Innovative for Change. Ahead of the EU delegation in Port Moresby signed an MOU with MTV to begin a campaign against violence against women, which MTV will be part of going forward.
Not only investments, it's also investments in humanity, it's also investments in inequality, and in social cohesion. That's extremely important to underline.
And we're honored to be given the chance to contribute to a radical change in mindsets that will ultimately result in the eradication of violence against women and girls in Papua New Guinea. These students will be trained and guided through a production process where they will develop TV commercials from
To New Ireland province now, and one of the country's iconic highways, the Buluminski, is set for a grand reopening following the complete sealing of the highway. The highway has undergone upgrade and maintenance work since 2015 for the whole 219 kilometers from Kavieng to Namatanai. Cardno, Department of Works and Dekanai Construction have been working together to upgrade this highway. The New Ireland provincial government and other development partners with locals are set for the grand reopening next week. The project is also supported by the governments of Papua New Guinea and Australia through the Transport Sector Support Project. Two issues at UPNG now, and the Ombudsman Commission is conducting an independent investigation into the UPNG saga that has affected classes for students at the Waigani campus. The investigation will be centered on where persons subject to the leadership code have not conducted themselves appropriately in performing their public duties. In this case, it is concern over the changes and the processes that were used to appoint the acting VC for the university, as well as the acting registrar. The recent appointments for the positions of the Vice Chancellor and acting registrar by the Minister for Higher Education, Science, Research and Technology was not welcomed by UPNG staff. And finally, to the Westpac Outstanding Women's Awards that were held last night. Raylan Mesa, a 24-year-old, has been awarded the overall winner of the 2019 WOW Awards for her work in development, climate change and mitigation in helping to rebuild the seawall at Tami Island Primary School. She joined a few more of some outstanding women in the likes of Vani Nades, who took out the SP Brewery Entrepreneur Award, and Margaret Aka for the More Printing Sports Award winner. So congratulations to all the winners overnight.
I came here tonight with my father. So he's at the front. He's been one of my greatest supporters in all that I do. I started when I was 16 years old, and looking back, it was quite a great journey, seeing people's lives improve and having to have the opportunity to represent this not unfortunate, but the less fortunate is quite an extraordinary journey for me as well. And I also want to say that Happy International Women's Day to everyone, all the females.
And that was Raylan Smesa, the overall 2019 WOW Award winner. So congratulations to her, and congratulations to all the women that were nominated for the awards this year. That's some of the news at 6 a.m. A bit too early, though.
Yeah, congratulations to all last night. International Women's Day, of course, yesterday. But Maribel, I'm excited about the highway, Bolminski Highway in New Ireland Province.
Yeah, it's a wonderful highway.
Sign seal will be delivered?
Yeah, next week. So.
And I say about time, because I'm from there. It's pretty cool that
I think there's a cycling challenge. There's a cycling challenge.
Yes, it will help the cyclists.
Yeah.
Shaz, so it's done for you, Shaz.
Right, thanks, Maribel. And now for the sports news, it's a very good morning to Peter Pusal.
Thanks, Shaz. Firstly, the news that grabbed the headlines during the week was the visit of former North Queensland Cowboys stars Jonathan Thurston and Brent Tate for the Trukai Fun Run auction, which was held in Lae on Wednesday and in Port Moresby on Thursday. The Lae Fun Run auction at Lae International Hotel on Wednesday night raised 211,000 from 21,100 T-shirts sold. Rumai 18 Limited was the top bidder, buying 3,000 T-shirts at a cost of 30,000 kina. The following night in Port Moresby, a total of 401,000 was raised, with 40,100 T-shirts. That should be 4,100 T-shirts sold. Highest bidder was the National Gaming Control Board. They purchased 5,000 T-shirts at a cost of 50,000. Thurston took to the podium on both nights to talk about his experiences playing 15 seasons in the NRL, as well as for his state and country. This year's Trukai Fun Run takes place on Sunday, June 16th, and is expected to attract thousands to the streets of Port Moresby and Lae and several major centres in the country. It will also be the 20th year of Trukai's association with the event. The annual Trukai Fun Run is a fundraising event organised by the PNG Olympic Committee in support of Team PNG's participation at the Pacific Games. On to Rugby League, 6 players will make their Hunters debut tomorrow when the PNG Hunters open the Intrust Super Cup season campaign against the Tweedheads Seagulls. Of the 6, Garo Kapana, Brendan Nima, Joe Joshua, Daniel Tapol and Junior Robb have been named to start by coach Michael Marum, while halfback Nick Hasu has been named on the bench. The match will be played at Pigabeen Sports Complex in Tweedheads, New South Wales. The Hunters have a solid record at Pigabeen Sports Complex, having won 3 of 5 games there, and Marum's side enjoys a 6-3 overall record against the Seagulls. The Hunters won their last match against the Tweedheads 22-18 in round 22 last year. That game was at Pigabeen. Elsewhere in the Q Cup, Kumuls Adenegabi and Radley Brow have been named in the Wynnum Manly side to play the Sunshine Coast Falcons, while Nixon Putt has been named in the North Devils' second row to take on the Burleigh Bears. Other Kumuls and PNG reps playing in the Q Cup this weekend are Rod Griffin and Kyle Labert for Townsville, and Nene McDonald for the Pride, Luke Page for Burleigh, Richard Pandia for Ipswich, and Dan Russell for Mackay. More Rugby League, the Havea Cup Rugby League Nines Carnival got underway yesterday at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby. An initiative of the Grassroots Project, a not-for-profit focused on preventing domestic and sexual violence through the vehicle of sport. So 12 men's and women's teams kick off the action on International Women's Day. The Nines Carnival was complemented by a wellness expo, which featured over 40 stalls, training and education workshops and activities for kids, including a jumping castle. The expo was attended by celebrity guests, including Grassroots Project Ambassador PNG Orchids and Brisbane Broncos player Amelia Cook. The finals of the Nines tournament takes place today. On to Rugby Union, the PNG Rugby Football Union will hold its annual general meeting today at the Gateway Hotel in Port Moresby. The AGM will also coincide with a special general meeting. The AGM will see all provincial unions elect a board. PNG RFU is currently operating with an interim board with Sid Yates as chairman, President Ben Frame, Vice President Robert Nilkare, Treasurer Nathan Chang, and Secretary Michael Oyari. A special general meeting will see the adoption of the draft constitution, which was set out to all provinces and unions and stakeholders following the governance workshop in December. Overseas sports, the Super Rugby scores overnight. The Hurricanes beat the Otago Highlanders 25-22, and the Rebels beat the Brumbies 29-26. Shaz, those are the sports headlines for this morning.
Thank you very much, Peter. And now to the weather, Taz?
Yeah, but firstly on that, the Trukai Fun Run, it's good to see record amount, nearly 600,000, huh?
Yeah, that's a lot
for
of
Team
money.
PNG.
That's a lot of money. It'll be well spent for our campaign at the 2019 Pacific Games. It's in Samoa in July.
All right, now to the weather. Good morning, Richard McGay. Are you live and are you alive?
Thanks, Taz. Yes, morning. I am live. So let's have a look at the weekend weather for the main centers, shall we? To the southern region, all centers, there'll be a shower too. It's been wet all around. And also in Momase, the Blay will have a shower too. Madang, Wewak, and Vanimo will also experience showers. To the NGI, right, there's a lot of thunderstorms forecasted and showers there. And up to the highlands, every center should have showers. Also, before we go, the National Weather have issued a warning to all people on the NGI region, especially Manus, Manus, Aikeya, and Kimbe. There's flash floodings and also landslides associated with the monsoon coming through, and everyone there should take precautions to make sure that they're safe. Back to you, Taz.
Thanks, Richard. And Taz, one of the hot topics this week has been the discussion on social media about legalizing prostitution in PNG. That's what's been trending on social media this week.
Yeah, Shaz, this made headlines a few years ago, if you can remember, and it's back on social media this week. I'm not on social media, but Rich, you are. What's this all about?
Oh, guys, it's a circus, really. This all stems from a story on Monday from the National regarding prostitution and whether it should be legalized and that stuff. It's actually from the Secretary of the Department of Religion and Community Development, Anna Solomon. She's been misquoted by a few people. Just quickly, this is a follow-up story from the National's Weekender highlighting prostitution and the plight of prostitutes in Papua New Guinea. So the the paper's gone and asked the Secretary and on the department's take on this situation on whether prostitution should be legalized. Let me just say this. Ms. Solomon has not in any way stated in the article that she and her department are pushing to legalize prostitution. This article goes on to report that a woman whose name is withheld, who is in the sex industry, is the one suggesting that it should be legalized. Ms. Solomon states in the article she does not believe this country is ready for it. Further, the only research only through research with the NRI and consultants and with consultancies with various partners discussing the pros and cons of the probability of legalizing prostitution, then it will be discussed. Unfortunately, some people out there and groups out there have just translated this story wrong, and I've just really given it to Miss Solomon, sorry. And she's been sacrificed on social media, been called terrible names, and it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It has to stop. Guys, come on, reading and comprehension, people. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shaz.
Thanks, Rich. And we'd like to know, what are your thoughts? And you can get in touch with us via our Facebook page and post a comment. Taz?
Yeah, well, apart from that, we've got a big show coming up after the break. We have catching up with creative designer Sebastian Sambasivam. Peter got an exclusive with Hunters coach Michael Marum. On your Pete. The Q Cup season gets underway this weekend.
Can't wait.
And as highlighted last week, we're having an early morning chat with the NCD Governor, the Honourable Powes Parkop. Too early. And we also have a studio guest this morning. Dagia Aka from the Youth Against Corruption Association joins us. So stay with us on Good Morning PNG. We're back right after this.
Welcome back. You're watching Good Morning PNG. Glad you could join us this morning. And we're going to head right into the fashion industry, as we mentioned before the break. And Aikeya Parkop joins us now. Morning, Ikes.
Morning, guys. Sebastian Sambasivam, currently employed with PNG Tailoring as an in-house designer and pretty much handles the day-by-day business affairs of the company, and has had a passion for art at a very young age. His passion drove him to study at university, and from there he discovered his flair for fashion design. Self-taught and understanding fashion, learning to design, cut and sew, he discovered his unique sense of style, which has turned which has turned heads and gained recognition as one of Papua New Guinea's upcoming lead designers in the world of PNG's fashion industry, whom his strongest supporter is that of his employer, PNG Tailoring. Take a look.
PNG Tailoring was founded by the late Susanna and Graham John Ling. Since working here, I've learned about garment construction, which is the most important thing, I believe, for a designer. You got to know how to draft your patterns. Each pattern is for a different part of the body, and it fits in a certain kind of way. I believe you've seen my cutter at work, so that's kind of the idea of drafting the pattern, and then cutting it out and then having it sewn. So there are certain types of stitch techniques that we incorporate here, and that has helped me understand that side of it as well, the practical side. And then having it put together and on a mannequin, as you can see behind me, those are the different stages. So I think the company PNG Tailoring has really helped me to grow as a fashion designer because I know the steps now.
So you've been a part of some prominent events, Stella Runway, Project Runway, MPIP. Explain to us, what was that like for you?
Oh, that was, I would say, the most amazing experience in my whole entire life. Like, you know, everything built up to this particular moment. So with me being involved in some of the platforms, the fashion platforms, it has given me such experience, like in terms of like observing it as someone in the audience, sitting down and really seeing the garments on the runway and seeing it from different angles under a different light and seeing how the material moves. And then being involved backstage, seeing how everything is put together, you know, the different departments that everyone has, lights, camera, sound, and then you have your designer slots on the sides, and then they have all their garments all lined up ready for the runway. So I believe my involvement in them really helped me grow, and also the experience that I gained from them is it's how will I say, it's just so big. Nothing can top that right now. With that said, we entered into PNG Fashion Week. There was a fashion show last year in November. We showcased the honorary collection, which was put out there. So I basically sat down and started designing all of these things and putting it up there, and got the reviews from people, and it was just amazing. Yeah, you've gone through the hard stages of building and constructing it, going through all the prototypes. But once you get it correct and it's on the runway and people are buying it and they're giving you good feedback, constructive feedback, I found that to be a very memorable moment. That's something that it's like a chapter in my life that I'll always remember. Another memorable moment was, of course, the fashion show, PNG Fashion Week in November, being part of that. Right after the fashion show, we were involved with Vocal Fusion. We were asked by one of the guest judges, international singer, songwriter, producer, Miss Lavinia Williams. She asked me to design a garment for her, a glamour piece. And on top of that, I even got asked to design garments for another artist that came in, Jay Williams. And he also got me to design clothes for the contestants. So everyone that was participating were wearing stuff that we created from PNG Tailoring with my creative blur in there. Right after that, we were approached by MTV as well to work alongside our protege, or Jay Liasi, as he's commonly known, to put together something for the APAC Gala Dinner. So that's like the first of, like, I've never done that before, so that was so huge. Having that done was the perfect way to end the year for us, and it was just amazing.
Are there any struggles you face in your area of work?
I would say yes, there is. There's a lot. First of all, fabric is not readily available in the country. And when I say fabric, I'm talking about high quality fabric, because we want to project a certain image when we create something. So when you say fashion, you want to produce something at a certain level. Secondly, the prices. The prices of the materials are extremely expensive, like outrageously expensive. So that in itself does also affect emerging designers because of the financial, the capability that they have. They might not be able to afford certain fabrics that they really want to use. I think having a healthy competition, so having more fashion platforms, there isn't a lot, there is just a few now. We want those platforms to expand, go regional, go to different provinces in Papua New Guinea and capture the talent that is there.
So how do you create a piece? What are your steps? You just see something and then it just all comes to your mind?
Sometimes yes, but most of the time it's it's really, I have to sit down and really do my research. You have to see what is trending at the moment, what is happening around the world, not only in Papua New Guinea, but around the world. So once I know what is trending, and I take certain concepts from that, and then I come here and I go out into, like, say, the National Museum. I'm always there, I'm sitting there looking at the carvings. Also, I love painting, so pretty much anything that attracts my attention, whether it be color, design, or texture, I will take snippets of that. I'll go back to my studio and I will put a storyboard together. And then that's when I start constructing the dress or the shirt or whatever it is, and keeping in mind that there is a balance. There's always a balance in something. So you can't just splash everything into one thing because it just looks a bit messy, and your buyers and your consumers will find it a little bit confusing. What's the meaning behind this? Why did you choose this? So for me, it's like a story. So I always make sure that my garments have a balance. I've loved art, I've loved fashion from such an early age, and every day is like an excitement, like it's something for me to do that's just new, you know. I always challenge myself. I'm always pushing the boundaries with my design concepts, and it's like, you just gotta love what you do, really. And if you do that, you will only excel. And that's all I can say. Like, I really do love my job at the moment, and so I can only see myself growing and growing into the years.
Fantastic. Speaking of entertainment, right there.
Yeah. What were you doing, eh?
I have no idea. And no doubt we'll be seeing more of this promising fashion designer in the near future. Those of you interested in Sebastian's designs or would like to have clothing designed and tailor-made, you can get in touch with him on 7260-7812 or just email on pngtailoring@gmail.com. In more entertainment news, Wameblad, Archie, Tazi and Tats have released a new video for their song Mount Holpass. You can watch the full video on Elite Music Zone on Thursday. Silas Kanya is releasing his first ever Volume 1 solo album on Friday the 15th of March. It consists of 15 tracks and was recorded under Gel D Productions. And a week ago, Cardi B and Bruno Mars also released their new video, and this video is probably the best cover to date. Take a look. And that's all with entertainment this week.
All righty.
Great video, great soundtrack.
Stuff.
I didn't know Cardi B and Bruno Mars were into that.
And was that song, was that the Mount Holpass song? Oh, okay. Right.
No, that was Cardi B and Bruno Mars.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to go for a break. When we come back, more of Good Morning PNG. Don't go anywhere.
Anyway. From the Shaz collection right there. No. Welcome back. It's time for our studio guest this week, and he's Mr. Dagiaka from he's the Youth Integrity Program Coordinator for Transparency International. Have I got that right?
Yes, you've got that right. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Dagi, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Shaz, and thank you so much for having me on the show this morning.
Awesome.
We are going to talk about the Youth Against Corruption Association.
Yes.
In brief, what is that?
So the Youth Against Corruption Association was founded in the year 2002 by Father John Glynn, and it's basically an avenue to empower young people to advocate the fight against corruption, and also give them a vehicle to raise their voices and concerns about issues currently affecting young people.
Okay, so who does the association come under?
So currently the Youth Against Corruption Association falls under the Youth Integrity Programs, which I coordinate, and that is a part of Transparency International Papua New Guinea.
Awesome, yeah. Cool. And what do they do in like the activities that you've rolled out with?
So within the Youth Integrity Programs at Transparency International PNG, there are two main activities that fall under the program. First and foremost being our annual Mike Manning Youth Democracy Camp, which we hold every year, bringing together 60 young people from all around Papua New Guinea. And the second, of course, being the Youth Against Corruption Association, which is how we engage with young people within schools, giving them opportunities to attend workshops, opportunities to attend forums, and of course, continuously empowering them and giving them that avenue to speak up.
Okay.
Now you do school visits. What's the reaction like from students when you visit them?
It's always interesting going to schools and speaking to students. Sometimes, you go in thinking the students aren't going to listen or they're probably not going to pay attention to what you're saying. But I found from most of the school visits that we've done this year that the students are very engaging, they're very receptive, and the students really want to talk about what's happening in Papua New Guinea, and especially how they can be a part of contributing to the solutions that they want to see in order to create a better future for themselves here in Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about the Media Smart Youth Workshop.
It's so funny that I'm on Good Morning PNG and I'm going to tell you about the Media Smart Youth Workshop because that was a workshop that was started in the year 2012. I actually attended it as a student when I was in school then, and the Media Smart Youth Workshop is a workshop that we run to teach young people how to fully utilize the media to advocate against corruption and to bring out about their messages of change. So we teach them, how to write press releases, how to write letters to the editor, how to conduct an interview like you are doing so amazingly right now.
Thank you.
How to write radio jingles and everything about how they can utilize the media, and then hopefully when we send them out, they fully utilize all the media platforms available to them to really drive that message that they want to get out to people.
Okay.
So just quickly on that, are you integrating social media into that now?
Yes. So when we started the workshop, we integrated social media into it from the very beginning. In fact, one of the most amazing things that was born out of the Media Smart Youth Workshop when it first started was the Youth Against Corruption Association blog, which we haven't used lately because I used to administer the blog and then I left. But
you got busy.
I got busy,
Life
but busy in a good way.
Yeah.
But we integrate social media as much as we possibly can, noting that social media is a powerful force when it comes to getting message out to people. And this year we're trying to make sure that we drive Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms that they can use.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of youth?
Yeah, what about sport? We know that youth and sport, a lot of youth are playing sport. In fact, most of the people playing sport these days are youth. I don't know of any 50-year-olds playing competitive sport. So how does your organization incorporate sport into your program?
So in the year 2013-2014, we decided to introduce sports clinics, which we try to use different rules of sports to teach values and principles to young people. In 2015, I remember putting together a sports program that we used when we traveled to East New Britain to do one of our Mobilizing Youth Against Corruption workshops. So this year, we're trying to make sure that we get into that space of sports a lot more, recognizing that a lot of young people are interested in sports and are avid followers of sports, so that we can really use these different sports to teach young people values and principles. And let's be honest, sports is an amazing way that young people learn discipline, that, they learn different things that can help them in life. And we hope that we can tap in there to also bring out about our message of creating change in Papua New Guinea and also encouraging the values and principles that we want to see young people, have.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's nice.
Dagir, thank you so much for waking up so early to join us this morning.
You are welcome.
We wish you and your team well as you visit the schools and educate our youth on anti-corruption.
Yeah.
And quickly, before you go, our question this morning is, should mobile phones be banned in schools?
That's a really interesting question because I loved my mobile phone when I was in school, but I can most definitely say that when I was in school it's slightly different from now. Kids tend to abuse their phones a lot more than how a lot of people used it as a resource before. I don't think it should be completely banned. I think it's an amazing tool to help young people learn, and so if it can properly be regulated in terms of how you use it and how the young people are using it in schools, I'm sure that we can find a balance in terms of it helping young people and not being too much of a distraction to them.
Absolutely. Excellent. Now, if you have something you would like to share about the show or comment on one of our stories this morning, please feel free to via our social pages.
Yeah, Taz, you can go to our Facebook page, Good Morning PNG, and post your comments there, including the question Taz just asked. Should mobile phones be banned in schools? You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. We received a lot of positive comments last week, which was great, so keep them coming.
Yes, and we can show some of them right now.
Right.
So on social media last week. This is some of our viewers sent in.
We had viewers like from New Zealand,
Australia,
everywhere, and UK.
So here we are. Absolutely like this program, Strickland.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Kia ora from New Zealand. And Jerry, just an observation. There's too much giggling.
What?
Stop giggling right this minute.
What?
Wesley, good morning to you. And so fast that it was a great show.
You want to slow down?
That went by like in 5 seconds.
Six in 6 seconds. That's the name of the show.
But great feedback. You know, we love them. Keep them coming. Right?
Please do.
Okay, we're going, this is Good Morning PNG you're watching. We're back right after this with the news headlines and the exclusive interview with Hunters coach Michael Marum.
There we go. Welcome back. We go straight to the news headlines, and here's Mirivatula.
Thanks again, Taz, and good morning, everyone. Friday was International Women's Day, and to mark this, an open panel discussion hosted in partnership by the European Union delegation to PNG and the University of Papua New Guinea in addressing the theme Think Equal, Build Smart Innovative for Change. And the head of the EU, in commemorating this day, signed an MOU with MTV to begin a campaign against violence against women. To the New Ireland province now, one of the country's iconic highways, the Bulminski, is set for a grand opening following the complete sealing of the highway. The highway has undergone upgrade and maintenance since 2015 for the whole 219 kilometers from Kavieng to Namatanai. Cardno, Department of Works and Dekanai Construction have been working together to upgrade the highway. Moving on, the Ombudsman Commission is conducting an independent investigation into the UPNG saga that has affected classes for students at the Waigani campus. The investigation will be centered on where people subject to the leadership code have not conducted themselves appropriately in performing their duties. In this case, it is concern over the changes and the processes that were used to appoint the acting VC of the university as well as the acting registrar. The recent appointments for these positions by the Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology was not welcomed by UPNG staff. And finally, to the Westpac Outstanding Women's Awards, Raylan Smessa, a 24-year-old, has been awarded the overall award winner for this year for her work in development, climate change and mitigation in helping to rebuild seawall on the Tami Island Primary School. And that's it for sports at 6:30, Taz.
Thanks, Miriva. Two things happening at UPNG. Firstly, the NASA, they went back to work, and then a separate court order for judicial review for Dr. Nicholas Mann.
Everything's going down. I think, I don't know, people just need to listen to each other. Yeah, find
a solution.
Yeah.
Students are the most important.
Yeah, compromise.
Best way for the students. All right, we've got the sports headlines. PP.
Thanks, Taz. The sports headlines. The Trukai Fun Run auction. The Trukai Fun Run auctions in both Lae and Port Moresby on Wednesday and Thursday night respectively raised over 600,000 kina for Team PNG. In Rugby League, 6 debutants will be running out tomorrow for the Hunters against the Tweedhead Seagulls in the Tweedheads. In Michael Marum's opening team for the opening clash of the 2019 Intrust Super Cup game against the Seagulls. And in Rugby Union, the PNG RFU will be having its annual general meeting today at the Gateway Hotel in Port Moresby. And in Super Rugby, just two quick results. The Hurricanes beat the Highlanders 25-22, and the Rebels beat the Brumbies 29-26. Those are the headlines for this morning. Shares.
Thanks, Peter. Before we go and have a quick look at the weather, can I just show, I actually met Jonathan Thurston. This is evidence right here. Can the camera do just like, I took a selfie with him. Look, there, see?
That looks
JT.
like Jonathan Thurston and somebody else.
Hey, be nice, that was me.
You took a photo of your sister.
He actually didn't like me that much because I told him I was a Broncos girl. And he's like, go away, go
Bad
away.
move.
Gosh, JT, so mean. Anyways, now for a brief look at the weather. Morning again to Richard McGay.
Thanks, Shaz. Mate, I swear that's Photoshop.
Hey!
Anyway, a quick look at the regional forecast for this weekend. In the southern region, isolated showers and thunderstorms throughout the area, a max temperature of 32 and a minimum of 24 degrees. In the Momase region, scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high of 32 and again 24 degrees on the lower end. up to the NGI region. There's scattered showers and thunderstorms with widespread rain everywhere. It's pretty wet up there. And in the highlands, scattered showers with early morning fog developing. 24 degrees as your high, 12 is your low. And also again, warning flash floods and landslides, especially in the NGI region, and also Momase, Medang and Morbet to be affected. Everyone in those areas, please take precautions and stay safe. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Rich. And we will be, Shaz,
Yeah.
the Queensland Intrust Super Cup. It's back for season 2019.
Yes.
Are you excited?
I am so excited. I can't wait for the game.
After 3.5 months of preseason training, so we'll be at it again starting tomorrow against the Tweedhead Seagulls in Australia.
Yes, we already told you how excited we are. And yeah, can't wait to see the boys and how they go this year. And our very own Peter Pusal spoke with Coach Michael Marum before they left for Brisbane. And Pete, what did you take away from the interview?
Well, Michael's got a huge task to lead the team this year because they've lost a lot of guys over the off-season. But he seems pretty confident, and he's named a pretty competitive side. Got 5 rookies in there starting and 1 on the bench. So he's
6.
Yeah, well, 6 all up. 5 starting, 1 on the bench. That's 6. So yeah, he's saying a lot of positive stuff, and we'll just go straight to the interview and see how it goes.
Outside for Alex Vera. They're in the Hunters with the highlights.
Heading into the new season 2019 of the Intrust Super Cup. Michael, you've got a new squad this year, pretty much. You've had a lot of changes over the off-season. A lot of guys have left, and you've got some new guys coming in. And you've named 5 debutants for this weekend's round 1 opener against the Tweedhead Seagulls down in New South Wales. Looking into the season, how do you think your squad will fare? Given what are the expectations?
Yeah, no, we basically have a completely new ops combination there. We started off with 65 players for the preseason. We trimmed it down to 31, and we named the 22 for the weekend's game. So they've all trained well together. We've been in camp for the past 14 weeks, so we've done all the training we could do. We worked with individual players and together as a team as well. So really looking forward to the match. It's going to be a new combination in the up there. Actually, again, partnering William Mone and also Patrick Morea from down the half, and also we have a fullback there. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the game.
Yeah, you launched, Hunters were launched last week, and the captain of the team was announced, as was the vice captain. Alex Wera will captain the SP PNG Hunters in 2019. His vice will be Moses Meninga. Alex Wera is one of the originals. He's probably the last original left in the team. He was there in 2014 all the way until now. What was the thinking behind naming him? Was it a hard decision? Did you have to juggle a few other names in the mix, or was it very simple?
There was a few other boys in there, new kids as well. So, but Alex been there all throughout. The boys look up to him for advice. He's been loyal to the team as well. So I thought probably he deserved the captaincy more than anyone in the side. He's the only remaining hunter from 2014. So Moses as well is teacher by profession, and he's got the the respect from the other players as well as coaching staff, and maybe the sponsors as well. So I think those 2 boys are probably just lead out on the field, but they have a leadership team there that they go through all the meetings and everything else. So yeah.
Looking ahead to the game this weekend, the Tweedhead Seagulls are a team that we've done well against most of the time. I think they beat you twice in 2018 or 2017. Incidentally, that was the year that you won the championship. What's the plan? Is there any specific plan for this team, or is it just to go out there, go through your sets, go through your game plan without worrying what the opposition has to offer?
We won 7 games out of 10 against the Tweed. We lost 3 of those games. 2017 we lost both games, home and away. But yeah, they're big side. They got some NRL experience in them. They played a couple of trial matches already, so we haven't actually played a trial game. So we're coming out with a new combination, and for us, just make sure we go out there and get off to a good start, and hopefully we can compete against them. So we understand it's going to be tough down there, but we believe in the team we selected. Those the starting 13 plus the reserves. If they stick to our game plan, they can go out there and get the result we want there.
Finally, to wrap it up, you've had this is your 6th year in the Intrust Super Cup. From the 5 seasons that you have played, you've made the finals 3 times and won a championship. Going into the 6th year, how do you see this team faring? Because there's a lot of expectation. However, the team is basically very new.
Yeah, we're going to go out there and compete against all the teams in the competition. So our game focus is just on one game at a time. So we don't talk about finals football. Going out there and playing well, and we'll be happy with the result as long as the boys go out there and give their 100% effort all throughout this game. So I don't want to put too much pressure on the players. But we believe in this side. We put together. It takes us a few games to get combinations right. But we've got another good bunch of players that hopefully in the future they'll be around for a lot of games here.
Michael Marum, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. They had to replace the divots after you walked off. We wish the
SP flaring shot of me. I thought it looked all right.
He looked fantastic. It was Michael that looked out of shape there.
Okay, that's right.
Hey, Mirabel, you had a question?
Yeah, I had a question for Peter. Realistically, how do you think the Hunters will go this season?
They'll do their best, and because of the new format with the finals, there's 2 more extra spots. So fingers crossed. I think they'll just get in there by the skin of their teeth. Fingers are crossed.
Will they make it past the first week of the finals if they do get in?
Look, as long as they make the finals, that's a big win.
Why are you being so negative?
Different ball game.
Yeah. I mean,
well, they won the premiership.
They will. I think
3
they'll do
years,
well.
so there's big expectation on the Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely is.
They'll win the premiership this year.
Yes.
The bookies have them at 13th. To finish 13th this year. They've got Tweetheads at 12.
So put the money on the Hunters now.
Yeah.
That's why I said they'll win the premiership.
There we go. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we're talking amazing Port Moresby with the Governor of NCD, the Honourable Powes Parkop. You're watching Good Morning PNG. Welcome back. And Taz, well, last week you were in the gym with our Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Charles Abel.
Still
and
recovering?
then this week you went walking with the NCD Governor, the Honourable Powes Parkop, for his Sunday morning walks, right? How was it?
Firstly, I think the Governor's youngest daughter should join in for these walks.
She's sitting right there. So there.
What I have to do with every Saturday morning.
There's about 40 of these walks. Feel free to do more than one, okay?
Come on, Ikes, you can do this.
Thousands of people turn up for these walks, which is great to see, and all sectors of the community, which the Governor really appreciates. But we caught up with him on a different day, quite early in the morning at the famous Erakone. Here's the interview. Governor, we're at Erakone, one of the iconic pieces, if you will, of PNG. What does this mean to you, this beach, after it was redone?
This, for me, is a very big statement, not just of my term in office, but for our city and also for our country. We have achieved something that I don't think many people believe we can achieve. And the testimony to that is that every night, every evening, people turn up. Families, young people, parents to turn up, and they have a very good time staying out until 11, even going up to 1 o'clock.
Well, the lights are on all night.
Yeah, the lights are on all night, so it's very good in that respect. It shows the possibility of our city and our country going forward.
Tell us about the slogan, Amazing Port Moresby. How did that come about and the idea behind it?
Yes, the idea behind Amazing Port Moresby is to promote the positive side of our city. Shift our people from negativity to positivity, because for a long time Port Moresby, I think, and I've been living here since 1977, the narrative and the conservation is mainly about the negative, about the crime, about the violence, about the rubbish, And what we think, we get. If we shift and think positive and a positive mind and see the positive part of our city, there's in abundance. And we start leveraging on that, then we will achieve a lot more positive outcome for our city and for our lives going into the future. So that's why we came up with this global branding. A lot of other cities and countries too, they have the global branding in order to promote them as destiny for tourism or investment or business or sporting and so on. So, we are doing likewise, and, Port Moresby really needs to do this.
One of the big things that you introduced a while back was your Sunday morning walks. Thanks for taking me along to the first one. Yeah. How did that come about, and what made you?
It was not a grand plan, like a blueprint, Tasman and all your viewers out there. I started the walk after I walked the Kokoda Trail. And I walked the Kokoda Trail in 2014 for two main reasons. First, I had health issues. When I went to Parliament, I started in 2007. I thought I'd be slim and look smart or, handsome guy. But after a term, I just ballooned. And I did not think I was eating a lot, but I'm probably eating all this, food that, prepared by other people, and it's mainly seasoned with so many types of sauces and so on. So I just ballooned, and then I had a lot of health problems. Uric acid went up, cholesterol went up, and I had heavy weight, nearly eating 100 kg. So I used to be very drowsy by 2 o'clock and so on, get angry with my staff. So it was not healthy for me. And when I went for medical check, the doctors told me okay, you get a choice. You either be on the pills or you change your lifestyle and your health and so on. So I started exercising. I said, okay, maybe I'll do Kokoda. I did 6 months of exercise. I went to the gym too with Talakami and his team. He's got a boot camp. And then we went for a walk, and after the walk I felt okay, we need to keep on continuing, and we started in around October 2014. Only a few of us, about 20 or less than that. And I felt this is a positive thing. We should encourage our people to do it. So from there I haven't stopped walking. And
now you have about 2,000 people every Sunday.
Yeah, average about 2,000, yeah. And sometimes it goes high, but 2,000 is still a big number. And I'm impressed with our people who turn up all the time, yeah.
You're a lawyer by profession. What made you, how did you end up in politics?
That's a good question, Tasman. Sometimes I ask myself, how did I come here?
Why am I still here?
Yeah, and I ask that question too, why am I here? It's too hard sometimes. Yeah, but lawyers, I think, when you look at law, it's also about politics. And if you look around the world, some of the outstanding leaders of the world are lawyers. Nelson Mandela was a lawyer. Of course, Barack Obama was a lawyer. Fidel Castro was a lawyer. So it's not unusual. It's not unusual. It's in the psyche of lawyers, I think. You have to talk about justice and talk about responsibility and talk about human rights and talk about protecting our environment and so on. I think it's embedded into what we are trained to do.
Governor, final question. The legacy that you want to leave behind, when you call it curtains on your career, political career.
I think the legacy for me, I want Port Moresby to be much better than it is now. Importantly, the barometer for me is that if women and girls of our city, they can walk around in the city doing normal things, and they're safe, no harassment, no pickpocketing, no having to look over their bag. Our people do Motu and Koitabu people, friendly people, resilient people. If they're, that culture too can become dominant, that people come here, they're friendly. When you're friendly, you make other people friendly. When you're happy, you make other people happy. When you are positive, you get positive outcome. So if people come here and the dominant culture is friendly, respect, no violence, taking ownership and responsibility, great legacy I've left here.
Governor?
I'll be happy to go.
Thank you so much.
Well, such a beautiful early morning with the governor, and great
It
to
was.
see the same people, doing the exercises as well.
Let's get walking back and forth, back and forth. One of those camera shots from behind the trees. Come on. Come on.
That was a little bit sus. Anyways.
Bordering on stalking.
I know, right?
And that is what has been the most encouraging thing for me, is watching families go to the beach. I'm a proud Port Moresby resident, proud Motu Koitabu resident. It's good to see first time, expatriates and Papua New Guineans alike. I never thought I'd see the day Wanegelas would be rollerblading, but they are. And once again, a big thank you to the governor for his time.
Okay, we're off for our final break. When we come back, it's time for a panel discussion with the team. A quick one. You're watching Good Morning PNG. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's time for a panel discussion. And well, one of the challenges of being a parent to teenage children or younger is them having mobile phones, right? And Taz, you've got teenage kids.
Yep, 2 of them, teenage kids. Girl
Did
17.
I say that right? I'm sorry.
It's the food in front of
It's
us.
the
Big thank you.
food.
Big thank you to G Cafe.
Yeah.
Kids, if you're watching, this is what I'm having. Girl 17 and the boy is 14. He's probably still asleep. They both have phones and they're both in high school. I mean, our question this morning is, should mobile phones be banned in schools? Serious topic. Now, over the last 10 or so years, the use of mobile phones in PNG has really ramped up. Half the country's population or more own a phone or have access to one.
Yeah, indeed, Taz. And this is the digital era, and mobile phones have become an integral part of our everyday lives now. Should mobile phones be banned in schools?
I think that if the schools can control and monitor their students and come up with processes for mobile phones in schools, then listening can work.
I totally agree with that. Mirabah?
Yeah, I agree. When you get into the classroom, put your phone in the basket. When you get out, get your phone.
Yep. That's exactly what we used to do in high school. It's a great academics.
What, last year?
Oh, come on.
20 years after you graduated. It's a great academic.
So yes or
tool.
no? Yes or no?
No,
Oh, sorry, you were
they shouldn't
saying.
be banned, but there should be rules implemented, definitely.
Yeah. Richard?
Yeah,
sorry.
Sorry,
yeah,
Richard.
exactly what you guys said. I think Doug has did up beautifully, so that's it. What he said.
What did he say?
He said it was, what he said. No, he said, if it's properly regulated, it's an awesome piece of equipment to work, with schools and stuff, but it can be abused. So if it's regulated properly, I was listening. It can be done.
Good on you.
Regulation and balance. Peter?
I'm going to go on a limb here and say ban them. These kids can use them after school. No need for them to have that distraction. If they want to get on the net, I'm sure schools can have computers and stuff. They can do that. They don't need the distraction. They need to focus on their studies.
How many schools have computers, though?
Well, how many schools have computers? I don't know. Probably not that many. But I think it's a distraction that they probably can do without. Yeah. There's lots of time after school. I mean, they don't spend all their lives in school, do they?
You have kids, right?
Yeah, I got 4 of them.
Do they have phones?
No.
Do you let them take them to
No, they
school?
don't. Obviously, they don't.
No phones for Peter's kids.
Radio. Okay, that's it.
A lot has been said, yep, and you did sum it up. It is up to parents, I suppose, guardians, teachers, and schools, and really it depends where you go to school in this country. I mean, it's so varied in our country here. To monitor the use of mobile phones, it comes back to the parents in the schools among the children and students. Now, still on the topic, Shaz, there is an app that is available on Google called Family Link.
Oh, yeah?
You download it. Pete, this is for you. It helps you as a parent to keep tabs on your child's online activities. I'll be downloading it straight after. But Rich, you've got it on your phone for young Thomas.
Yes, I do, actually. Look, it's real simple. You get it from Google Play Store. It's for Androids and iPhones. So, it's convenient for everybody. It tells you where your kid's phone is when he's online, what he's going through, what apps he's used. So, you just remote parenting. And, it's really good. He doesn't get up to anything.
Remote parenting.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because
I was going to say model parent, and then you just bought remote parent.
Well, I'm a model remote parent, aren't I? But it's really convenient.
Fantastic. That's it for this edition of Good Morning PNG. But Shaz, another hit show coming up next weekend.
Yeah, coming up next week, we catch up with a former secondary school teacher who taught our first Prime Minister, Sir Michael Marum, one of our Governor General, Sir Vincent Airy, and our first Army Commander, Ted Diro. He's going to tell us all about these three when they were in high school, plus more. Also, one of Fiji's greatest music exports, the evergreen Liza Vulakoro, chats to Aikeya, and Leon Gawi is back with the Brian Bell product grab. And our discussion point for next week is today's slang, right? And handwritten assignments versus electronic submissions and how this is affecting today's younger generation. That's all coming up next Saturday. Make sure you join us.
All of it is coming up next week.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, guys. Maribel, what are you getting up to?
I'm not too sure. It's going to be a busy week in news.
You caught him. You caught him.
You'll have to find out on the news, though.
Okay.
All right, that's it for another show. We'll catch you again next Saturday, bright and early. From all of us here, it's bye for now.